I am Virginia Ridgebear. I'm a child of God, and I am the interim manager of the Everything Beautiful thrift store. This store here is made for the community.
A place where they can come and buy things that they really need, things for the many children that are in our communities, and they can buy it at a low cost. Otherwise, they have to drive at least 50 or 60 or up to 90 or 100 miles to purchase a lot of these things, and that takes their gas money, so their money can't go as far. So this is a real convenience, a real necessity for our community.
We not only help people with what they need here, say household goods, clothing, shoes, and even furniture. We help them with prayer. We have a mailbox over there that gets full sometimes with just prayer requests.
The thrift store is also a ministry. I was involved with the thrift store. I actually started volunteering at the thrift store, and then I worked there for 2 years, which was amazing because I was able to help give back to the community. I was able to pray with the people when they came in. I was able to kind of share my testimony and let them know that, that there is hope. Living on the reservation can be very hard because there's no extracurricular activities, there's nothing to do. So I think it's very easy to turn to drugs and alcohol. It's very easy to turn to get caught up in depression and anxiety. I was on meth for 7.5 years, probably till I was like 23 to 30. And I lost my house, I lost my car. I didn't go back and pick up my kids. Did anything I had to do for drugs. I robbed people, I've held a gun to people's head, I've had a gun held to my head. And I've did a lot of stuff out there, but it wasn't until 2014 that I caught 4 felony drug charges. And I went to jail and I found out I was pregnant. And I thought, I didn't want to have this baby in jail. I didn't want to have to give my baby away in jail. And so I went out on the streets one more time.
In the beginning, I was one of the lost. I was addicted to meth. After my children were born, I went into addiction full time. I mean, I used to live and lived to use. I had a death with my children, and he died horribly.
When I wanted to get clean and off the streets, I would come to Willis. I've been at the Norther Cheyenne Mennonite Church all my life. The church has been here for over 100 years, and Willis and Nadine have been here for over 50 years. They have really sown into our family's lives here.
That's what brought me to my knees, and I surrendered, and I went to church. And my pastor, he helped me. And I kept coming here to this store, volunteering.
We've been here in Busby since 1971. What brought us here? Well, in a short form, it was God's call. God's call to serve.
The needs in our community are great, and sometimes it's overwhelming to find ways or feel like you really have a good handle on how to meet the needs. But one of the things that always comes back to me, even in the drugs and alcohol or in the poverty that we see around us, is offering people hope for something better. And we believe that that's possible through our ministry, through Jesus and God's love for everybody. We have many examples of people whose lives have been turned around, the lives that were caught in the drugs and alcohol scene and have now been restored and now making good choices for their lives, and that's such a blessing to be able to see that.
Willis helped me get to Mountain Ministries. up in Oregon, and when you're in recovery, support is huge. They have AA, they have Bible studies. Willis is open to counseling one-on-one. There is so much. I know Willis was praying with me. And so when I came back home, I know God was working. God opened up all those doors. We had weekly Bible studies. We had events at the church all the time.
As we observed thrift stores in the bigger cities, we said, maybe we can do that here. And so we began to think about finding a much larger building, and we looked and looked and couldn't find anything, and then decided to go ahead and build a building ourselves.
And so we decided to work together as churches and to build this project. The building that you see in back of me is the Everything Beautiful thrift store. In Cheyenne we say, immeasurable hawa. We started building in March of 2016. So it's been a little over 3 years that we've been working on this new building. We raised about $850,000. And because of in-kind donations, but we do need more money to finish it. And how much do we need? $200,000, maybe $200,000 to $300,000 to finish the building. And landscaping and all around it.
We're in the basement of Everything Beautiful thrift store. This is what we envision as the future home of first of all, not only the thrift store, but out of here we're looking to have a food bank and large appliances that will be sold out of here, furniture, and those larger items. We also envision that this thrift store will have a much larger ministry than thrift store. We are looking to have a work fair program where people would be able to come here from our community, actually from anywhere, and they would work here for the store. They would earn thrift bucks that could be spent in the store. And so finally we're hoping and looking towards being able to furnish someone with everything they would need to run a household for their family. And they could earn that right here. We also have a further vision of running outside of this basement area, a shop where we would have a sawmill. We are in Pine Ridge country, and so we would use the local trees. We would be milling lumber to build mini homes. And people would earn those sweat equity, it's often called, where they would be working at building these homes. And again, thrift bucks. Finally, that they would then own their homes. We would move them to their place, and that they would be able to have their family and provide everything here in this store for what is needed for that thrift home and for their family. Ministry of seeking to serve them personally as well.
That's why we need this kind of project to help meet the needs of our families.
Everything kind of helped mold me into what God has in store for me now. And I graduated college last year. I received my degree in addiction studies to allow me to become an addictions counselor.
The more I stay here in this store, working every day, I've gotten my goals back. I now have transportation. I now have my own place, and I have employment. And I have, most importantly, my son's son. He only had one son, and I'm raising him. So I think that the store is going to benefit us greatly. It is a lifesaver. Yes, praise the Lord.